All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Yes, it's your good friend Plausible here, and I'm back in action doing what I do best, reviewing movies. And yes, I finally got to go see The Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. No, I did not see it in 3D. My friend of mine told me the 3D was unworthy. I can understand. I mean, I didn't see anything really, that would be popping out of me in 3D. Basically, it's the one movie a lot of people have been waiting for, Wolverine in Japan. If you remember, one of the endings of Wolverine back in, I think it was 2009, I think it was, one of the endings had him drinking to remember, he said. Because remember, at the end of Wolverine, he lost all his memory. That was one of the things he wanted to explain. They wanted to explain how he got his claws, how he lost his memory, stuff like that. However, when it comes to this movie, a little disappointing by a few things. One thing that got me was the fact that this takes place after The Last Stand. So it's not really an after Wolverine. Wolverine happened way before X-Men, whereas The Last Stand, or the Wolverine, happens after X-Men Last Stand. Not what I was expecting, but they did say in the trivia section on IMDb, they changed it eventually. They were going to go with something that was after Wolverine, but before the first X-Men. They decided, let's just, keep it going. Let's just start with sequels and move things along. The movie itself is good. I enjoyed it. Basically, you have Wolverine who's being petitioned by an old. I remember they call him an old friend, but he just saved his life a long time ago, back in World War II. And they had a good attention to detail because back in World War II he didn't have his adamantium claws. They showed him with his other claws, so I like that part. And he saved this guy's life. The guy is now dying. It's been 30, no, it's been more like 60 years, and the guy was just a young man back then. Now he's dying, so he wants to thank Wolverine, and the way he wants to thank him is to make him mortal. It's kind of like an interesting little change of pace here. It's like, I want to thank you, so I'll kill you. He really doesn't intend to kill him, like, put a bullet in him or anything. He intends to kill him, quote unquote, by, taking away his ability to heal so he can grow old, have a family, have a normal life. One small complaint that let's go through my complaints real quick here. I'm sorry, I'm kind of squirreling, as we say it, sometimes going off topic, but my complaints were some of the nitpicking things that fanboys can do when you watch a movie and you enjoy it, but you know the background so well that when they're changing things, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, for example, Wolverine. There was once this one comic of the X-Men where basically somebody up in a satellite above Earth sent down a signal which shuts off everyone's X factor. So everyone all of a sudden was human. Okay, which was not good for Wolverine because he's still filled with adamantium. Now that makes you sick. Okay, the adamantium is not really meant to be in our system, so it's poison. Now that said, that brings up an interesting point about this movie. This movie was a lot like the other movies we've been seeing lately, where we quote-unquote see the hero without his powers. Okay, they do that with Superman, Superman 2, Iron Man. You see a lot of Tony Stark, but not so much Iron Man, and even especially in Dark Knight Rises. A lot of, Bruce Wayne, not a lot of Batman. That said, the Wolverine here, for reasons unknown, he can't heal anymore. And it's actually kind of confusing because it just happens. And he's filled with adamantium, but if he can't heal, then the adamantium should be poisoning his system. That said, it's important to remember that his ability to heal has not been completely shut off like it was in the comic strip. Here, it's only been reduced. So he doesn't heal as fast. He still heals, but he has scars now, and he needs to get stitched up and everything. He's still as tough as nails. No matter what happens to the Wolverine, he's still as tough as nails, because ultimately, the real thing about the Wolverine is ultimately I just don't think he cares. He doesn't worry about getting hurt because he knows he's going to heal. And I think that's just a habit for him. So he doesn't mind rushing into danger, running, getting shot, and still running as if he hadn't been shot because he's expecting his body to heal. Not to mention the fact that he has the berserker mode where he just goes crazy and the adrenaline rush makes him ignore all the pain. something he is very, very used to. So one thing they also took away, I have to admit, the cigar. Now, maybe I watched it. I did, have to step out to get some popcorn, but I never saw him with a cigar. But I think, they're trying to get away with that, trying to make this family friendly and all that good stuff. You saw it in the trailers, but it's not in the movie. Go figure. One other interesting part about this movie is Jean Grey is in it. Now, I'm going to be discussing this with my friends, but this is the part where, like I said, this got me because I did not want this to be after Last Stand. I wanted this to be before X-Men, after the Wolverine Part 1. And the reason why is because it's always been common knowledge that Wolverine has an extensive knowledge of Japanese culture. He can speak Japanese, he can read Japanese, and so there's this one scene in the beginning where he sees people arguing in Japanese. You don't realize at the time that he didn't understand what they were saying, because I always thought, hey, it's a Wolverine, he knows Japanese. So, but not here, he doesn't. All right, so it kind of takes it out of its continuity. It's still canon somewhat, but it's out of continuity that I'm used to. But you know what? You learn to live with it. You learn to let go. The Wolverine, let's get back to the actual story now. His friend wants to make him mortal. Without his permission, they do that. Somehow they do start making him mortal again. But that's not the point of the story. And that's the one thing I did like about this movie very much. The point of the story was still doing what a hero does, and that's protecting somebody else. There's a lady in distress. He's got to protect her. Despite the fact that he's not the powerful man he used to be, he still feels the need to protect her. He's got that sense of honor and duty. The beginning was very good, and the ending very climactic, as they always should be. Very painful too. That's one thing else interesting about this movie. It's painful. Obviously you see Wolverine getting hurt, but you also see Wolverine getting hurt in such a way that you feel it yourself. Okay, they use the dentist thing on you, but you'll understand when you see that. It's a lot of the same, but it's still good. I liked seeing Wolverine. I like seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I give this movie a see it, of course. I think it's definitely worth it. If you haven't seen it yet, I think you should. Okay, it's very good. So that's it for my review of Wolverine. Stay tuned next week. I hope to get my friends, if Joe will see the movie, we'll have a seen it edition of the Wolverine and to see what they thought of some of the many parts about it. Until then, guys, we'll see you later.